channel, or welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since I've filmed a video. I was away for about 3 weeks, winter break, to see my dad and my stepmom and my little siblings out in Miami. I've already filmed this intro like 3 times, and this will be my last time filming it. I'm gonna try not to blabber. I think it's very easy for me to kind of just get wrapped up in my own thread when it comes to this topic. But I've been thinking a lot about life and how we live life, and how people are usually on 2 extremes. Either they live carelessly, as if though the world is the same way that it was a couple years ago, as if though every single month doesn't hold like this new catastrophe or issue, as if death wasn't literally constantly at their door. And then there's people who live in constant fear of these things, who don't live at all, who stay home and wait for death, or fight against it. But regardless, they live in fear. And neither of those are ways to live, because you are neither superhuman, and on top of that, fear is crippling, and we are meant to live. We were born to live, not to live in fear of dying. So this poem is not meant to be depressive. It's not meant to be brooding. It's just facts. You know what I mean? I think it's just a wake-up call about where our heads are at, where our hearts are at. How are we walking? How are we living? Like, what are we prioritizing? Are we balancing things out? And to be honest, a lot of us are not. So before I keep rambling, on to the poem. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I am really curious to hear your thoughts, and I just hope that this prompts a moment of self-reflection. So this poem is untitled as of right now, but the date I wrote it was, or the date that I started writing it was January 11th of this year at 7:06 p.m. I have more incomplete poetry than I do finished. I feel like my life is one big beginning and end smushed together into the now. We tiptoe around acting as if the present is forbidden, and this is why we don't enjoy a single day of our lives, and we work towards nothing. We just lament over what was lost and sit crippled, looking ahead to a future that God never promised. Whether you learn all there is to know or stay ignorant for the rest of your life, kings and queens, servants and slaves all die the same, all made of dust, all made of the earth we trample on. In vain we build, and our projects become our grave. Our sweat is our portion, and our blood the riches inherited from everything we hunched over to do, never once looking up at the sky to admire the stars as they shoot by, eclipsing with our limited understanding of eternity. The balance of all things is to know God, is to be only as knowledgeable as needed to be and stay curious. To be only as wise as needed to be and stay cautious, and to be ignorant only as much as it keeps you humble. We imagine sitting grandchildren on our laps, and I ask you, what stories are you going to tell them? If every day you live careful, you save no lives, you dance to no rhythm, you learn no new languages, and you speak no love, you know no purpose besides rising and eating and sleeping and repressing it all. If you knew that tomorrow you'd intake your last, if you knew that tomorrow death would come when no one you loved was around, would you travel the world in 24 hours? Would you make amends with the people you scarcely tell I love you? Would you shake hands and share wine with enemies? Would you take out the book you never completed and the boat you haven't rowed in ages? For old time's sake, would you call your childhood buddy you thought you'd never see again? Would you pray one last prayer? and spend 4 hours in his presence, lamenting over every mistake you were too prideful to let go of before? Would you look for the children you left behind when you went to the war? Would you bend your knees and plead with the wife of your youth who you never cared to love more than your job? I tell you, live like this, as if today was the last day you ever looked at your child, mother, father, husband, best friend in the face ever again. Give away all you have, not thinking if it's your last, that you have in your pockets, for pockets can't be taken in the grave, and you can't choose the suit they bury you in. Preach Christ. Preach his love. Even if they heckle you, preach the love that saved you. And if you walked away, if you never met him before, would you, in a little bit of faith, even if you've never thought to believe before or never believe in anything beyond yourself again, open the door he knocks on and let him eat with you just once? Would you let him tell you wonderful things you never thought real, and tell you your resting heart rate as you sleep, and how much the people you left behind have ached to know you ran away, and all the moments you wept alone and thought of death as the only hope? Dance with the wife of your youth. You don't need music for your love to sing its own ballad. Watch the sun circle the earth, rising above all God's creation with no prejudice. Flowers grow and branches bend, overflowing with fruit, without hatred. Everything cycles as it should, without resistance. Everything does as it was created. Would you for once refuse rebellion and submit to the principles of life, and learn from the waiting of waves and the death of trees and the birth of all kinds of babies? Life is the last glimpse we get before death strips us of everything we love and everything we hate and everything that moves us and everything that makes us ache. What would the last picture be if you laid to die today? Would your heart beat with regret, clawing to grasp hold of the life that you never lived?